Okay, so in the corporate governance, the very important thing is the directors. Okay, stakeholder, shareholder, director. These are three things we are how to emphasize more. Okay, director is a common word. Okay, I am unable to hear audio, Rachita. Okay, so please sign out and join back again, so you will be able to hear. Okay, so the word director, so it is a technical term director, but you can take the director as a CEO sometimes, CFO sometimes in some perspective. But when it comes to board of director means it's a director. And the director itself, we have an executive director, non-executive director, the technical things we have to see later. In today's class, we will discuss why there is a need of a person. So we usually heard about the word called the manager. Under the manager, we have subordinates, employees, laborers, with respect to each department. So what is the need for having a specific board of directors, or even we can say a CEO? So we have a different terminology, MD, etc. So we have to identify why there is a separate body to take care of it. And I already texted each and every individual should be ready with some companies, which is also the continuation for the assignment and discussion later you are going to have. So we have to identify one successful company, and you have to find out why it is successful with respect to the corporate governance. So we are not going to discuss about the product. We are not going to discuss about the profitability. We are not going to discuss about whether they are expanded. So marketing concepts, other concepts, we are not going to discuss. We sharply go to about their governance, how the system, we call it as the internal environment, right? So how they are structured, how their assignment of duties, how each and individual is accountable based on that, how the company is so successful. You can give a brief. And you can identify another company which failed because of improper management or wrong coordination between the employees, or it is a mistake of a board of director or a CEO, anyone. So, again, I will request, don't go for a product performance or a market performance, corporate performance. We have to discuss only within the management side. There is a corporate governance side. And the same way, you have to choose two person. One person is very successful. He can be a board of director or CEO, whatever it may be. How he is successful in managing the people for the success of the organization. We heard about objectives, vision, mission, etc. So there are two different types of objectives we can classify. One objective is for the welfare of the organization or welfare of the stakeholders. Okay, as a whole, whether our entire objective is towards the stakeholder includes everyone, okay, including the shareholder, or it emphasizes only on the shareholder. Shareholder means their objective is to, I invested, I need profit. They won't bother about how you are going to getting it, how you are exploiting the labor, what the technology you are going to adopt it, whether you are going in the wrong route or the right route. That is immaterial. I invested some money. What is my ROI? So as a director, you have a challenge to whom you have to satisfy. As a stakeholder, the stakeholder can be a public, the stakeholder can be a government, stakeholder can be a customer, stakeholder can be employee. So when you want to satisfy the business goals, sometimes you may not be able to satisfy the employee goal, whether it is fine. So you have to speak from the CEO or board of director perspective. Some may attempt to take care of the business profit. So they are ready to convince in other stakeholder perspective. Or in reverse, some board of directors or some top level executives focus more on environment, more on people, so that they are unable to focus on the business goals. So in both ways, a person can be unsuccessful. So a company success, not successful. Why? With respect to the corporate governance. A person in a company is successful, is not successful. Again, it is not respect to his personality. We are not relating with any other market environment, but how he manages with respect to the corporate. So, with a few discussions, we can go into the other theoretical topic that will follow. So, we already discussed about what is the definition for corporate governance. Okay, so here I will show. So before the discussion goes, here I can show this shareholder and director. So we have to see whether the shareholders and directors, what is the relationship. Okay, so when we want to have a control over that, what is the control means? We have some set of standard. We want to achieve the standard. We want to avoid any deviation to achieve the target or mission or vision. So here, a shareholder, what he is having actually a ownership of the shares or right to own the company. He has some objective. So most probably, I will say it is respect to the profit or the growth of the organization in the financial perspective or his ownership perspective. Director may have a different control system to achieve the objective. So some company have a different objective for a shareholder, different objective for a director. If it is not matching, the company will fail. So here the diagram is mentioned as the objective of the shareholder who is expecting the return in terms of finance, and objective of the director who willingness to take care of the organization. The director is not specified for any particular task. He has to take care of the entire organization. So if both the things matches, then the organization is very successful. The director is said to be a very good successful director. Okay, so what are things he has to manage? So as a board of directors, there may be a group of people. Among the board of directors, we will see what is in the board of directors, what is in the executive later. Okay, so as a director, if we say call it the terminology called director, he has to manage n number of things. Okay, so he has to take care of the management style. So we have studied about different management style. Okay, so which is suitable for the culture of the organization and the current environment, current employees, and he has to take care of the banks and other lenders' commitment. We have the responsibility to settle. That is one side. And shareholders, they are looking for a profit. The employees, they are actually working hard and hard for the achievement of the organization. In return, they are expecting some financial benefit or growth or career growth in the organization. That has to be taken care. And another side, regulators. Okay, and the customer obviously should look for the end product or services, and we have to maintain the relationship with the supplier. So supplier is also an important factor. And we have to care about the regulators. Regulators can be a government or political party or any government or private owned institution which can influence on the performance of the any business or the organization. So the regulators, maybe one perspective may be environment friendly, social friendly, etc. So one place, so this environment, they may not be a part of anything. Okay, they are called as public. So for example, if we take a soft drinks means I may satisfy each and every people here. I may satisfy, even for the regulator, I may satisfy the standards of water I have to give and water. So I can satisfy the regulators. But if it is end consumer or if it is the public, how they are getting affected. So maybe exploitation of river or avoiding natural water resources so that I want to sell my soft drinks means all other people are happy, but I am not making my environment, natural environment or my community or general public. So that is also not fine. Why this has to be emphasized is when we come to the concept called issuing of shares. So how we got the shareholder looks for long-term return, not the short-term return. So it is simply a difference between a sales and marketing. The shareholder, those who are in the share, it's not a share trading. Shareholder will be with the organization for more number of years, for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. Okay, he is having a long bonding, so he may not expect for the short-term profit. He may not be look for the crooked way of getting the profit. So sometimes the shareholder may look whatever the product you are producing, whatever service you are doing, it should be in an ethical way. It should not affect the society, because if it gets affected, that will have an impact on the customers. So when we say that the natural environment is expired, I mean slowly the customers who want to take care of the natural thing or they want to maintain the organic thing, so the customers will be going out of the organization. So as a shareholder, sometimes I may take care of the environment, I may take care of customers. So it's all interrelated. As a director, how they are able to balance all the things, that plays a major role in understanding the corporate world. So here we are using the two aspects we are discussing: the business environment, internal and external environment. Okay. Here simplifying internal environment, we are internal to the company, with respect to the corporate governance, discuss about the what are the decisions can be taken by the board of directors. Board of directors is a group of directors. And what are the risk measurement or risk assessment method they are adopting, and what are the other control system or operation system they are adopting. So this is within the organization. Outside the organization, we have to consider a few things which can be a regulatory framework or legislation or code of conduct. Whether you willing or not, you have to follow. So, for example, if you are going for a merger or a joint venture or even export your product to another country, even it is your business, even it is your product, you have a very genuine product, you are going to export the product to another country means another country, the company in the another country has the right to ask what is your production process. They will not ask only about your product, they will ask your production process. How many employees are involved? How much they are paid?
Stay here. Go ahead.
I want to study that.
Okay.
So, what is the
Network
or conditions? What conditions given for the employee? That also important for a company which is going to buy. It's not only selling. Okay, so when you go for a globalization or international business, any company can question you how you are producing, what is the infrastructure, how you are taking care of employees. So, external thing, it can be social responsibilities or ethical responsibilities, or it can be from the government side. Or
ಯಶಸ್ವಿನಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ್ರೆ.
So those who are unmuting and they are and with respect to the corporate governance, there are some key words. It's already we discussed something. Okay, so whenever we speak about a corporate governance, the corporate governance, that should be a transparency. Transparency means, again, we speak about the shareholder. For the shareholder, we have to explain how I invested, what are the machines I am using. So it technically the entire annual report, the entire balance sheet, entire ratio, and whatever we are saying with respect to the company, it should be transparent to the customer, to the shareholder, to the government. So the corporate governance, when we grow to the beyond level, nothing is secret. Because you are not the owner, I am not the owner, the company is owned by the public. Why it is public? The shareholder can be from the public. So we are answerable to all the bosses. There is no one boss. And in the corporate governance, we have to maintain the honesty, and there should be an independence, or there should be a no conflict with any of the board of directors. When we have a 4 to 5 board of directors, we have to assure that all the people are like-mindedly accepting the decision and they are moving towards whether we are maintaining that. Because always it is a very biggest problem, we call it as a conflict of interest. When I want to sell a product, okay, so I may suggest please give this good. You may suggest please give advertisement. Another person may say please reduce the price, or please use celebrity. Someone may, so there may be 4 to 5 ideas made. With respect to the corporate governance, everybody has to come on the common end level. We have to decide only one. There should not be any difference of opinion among the board of directors, because the board of directors are also working for the growth of the organization, not for the individual benefits. And why it is important? Again, it affects the reputation of the company. So corporate governance, we have to understand what is the reputation the company is having. So whenever we are making a decision with respect to the business, we have to understand what is the brand image. So some company may be branded as organic products. If you have an organic product, means when you want to increase your business, when you want to increase the profit, you cannot include some process with respect to the chemicals, because you branded, you position your company as organic, health friendly or user friendly. So you cannot go against the value what you actually created. So the reputation also has to be maintained, and fairness. So we should be ethical. Fairness, we should be ethical. Again, later we will discuss what is ethics, what is maybe individual ethics, what can be a professional ethics, that we'll discuss later. And integrity is a moral code, ethical code we have to maintain. And whenever we go for innovation, so as a company, when we want to go, means we have to come up with different ideas, different innovation and creativity. At the time of innovation, creativity, we have to discuss with the board of directors, we have to discuss with the employees. There should be some norms. And what is accountability? Accountability means each and every person in the organization are accountable or monitorable, or they should be answering for the questions when it's asked later. That is accountable. I should have. So again, another part we are saying that from employee side, we should have some responsibility to accept whatever the board of directors or whatever the head CEOs are instructing. We have any clarifications or any doubts or any conflicts, we have to clarify it And finally, we have to accept responsibility. Means we have to accept whatever salary we are getting, so we have to get some responsibilities to take care of it. And judgment. So whenever there is a difference of opinion or conflict comes, there should be a proper judgment which is justifiable for all the people. And skepticism is an attitude which includes the questioning. So in the corporate governance, at least in the board of director level or the top level, all persons should be encouraged to question why, how, why not. So if you are restricting the people to ask question means either we are allowing unethical practices or we are restricting the growth of the organization. So to some level, skepticism has to be allowed. At the same time, there is a more number of questions from all the places. Again, we cannot go with the proper corporate governance. So these are the keywords we have to remember. So corporate governance is a simple word, but here the balancing. So as I said, it's a board of directors. It is a balancing between shareholder objective and stakeholder interest. So director's objective is a part of shareholder objective and stakeholder objective. So he has to balance both the things. That is the biggest challenge. And director is not the owner of the organization, he's just an employee or he's paid. But he is answerable to both the parties. That's a very difficult thing. And with respect to the corporate governance, when we want to control or when we want to guide the organization, we call it as a board structure. Already we studied about the organization structure, but here we are discussing about the board structure. The board structure can be unitary structure or two-tier structure. In MBC, you might study about the centralization. So whether all the powers, all the roles, all the instruction, all the communications come from only one person, and the final decision has to be taken by the one person, that is called as centralization. Okay, so unitary means there is only one head and there is only one board, which have subdivision executive directors, non-executive NAD, non-executive directors, yes, whatever it may be, but there's a center point, he is the final decision maker. That is one structure. Second structure is two-tier structure. There's a two board. One board is as common as a unitary structure. Okay, we can have a management, we can have all the things, mostly in the lower level. We can have all the powers with respect to the department. At the same time, the performance of the particular board of directors, the performance of the employee, the performance of the department has to be supervised by the independent body or independent person. So here we are using a word called two-tier or dual. So what is the plus and minus of unitary and dual means? Unitary, the decision is very fast. There is only one person we know to whom we have to ask if there is a lot of problem and who has to solve and what is the hierarchy. But in terms of two-tier system, yes, we have to work under a single person, but every time there's a second person can influence it in time to ask you a question. So we should be, we can call it as a two. So whenever there's the employee is working in a two-tier system, it is called as a two-boss system. I should be answerable to my regular boss at the same time during the inspection, maybe during the auditing, during the external supervision. Somebody is coming in, I have to answerable to that person also. So that is called as two-tier system. So in the corporate governance, some companies, they always suggested that we should have a two-tier system. We cannot depend on only one decision of a particular director or one board of member. So his actions, his behavior, his performance always should be suggested, guided, supervised, or audited by another person who is independent of the particular team. Then only the growth will come. It's not with respect to the questioning of the people, or it's not with respect to the interest on the person. It is to have another external person to clarify whether he is going in the right path or not. Okay. So with this, we can come back after a few time. And now I will call few people. Yes, Archit. So
yeah, one second. Yes, sir.
Yes. Archit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Archit, can you mention any one of the successful person who is able to manage one company
Sir.
higher level?
Sir. So it's the same question that you sent in WhatsApp, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So for the successful CEO, I thought of Elon Musk, and for the unsuccessful CEO, I thought of YT. He's a Chinese entrepreneur. He was the CEO of Faraday Future. Faraday Future was actually the direct competitor of Tesla Motors. They also Faraday Future tried to compete with Tesla, Apple, and Netflix. I think Faraday Future also started a company. Actually, their streaming service was Leishi. They started before Netflix, I guess, but then they couldn't prosper because of the changing environment. They couldn't adapt to the techniques of what Netflix was using. The same goes for the Faraday Futures electric motor company, car company also. Yeah. So, like, what more should I tell about this?
Yes, Archit, I am actually looking for how he managed. If he is successful, means why he is successful with respect to the managing the organization. I am not asking with respect to the marketing or branding or innovation. While managing the organization, how he is successful.
Okay, sir. If I tell from Elon Musk's point of view, Elon Musk was successful because he was looking for a low profit return. Like he was trying to increase his market share by keeping his revenue at a low rate. So in electric companies, if you think like here, we need a huge amount of investments. But then if you want your car to be sold out, you have to decrease your profit in the initial terms. So if you look at Tesla Motors is the company with the highest market share right now. But when you look at the profit is actually way more less than Volkswagen and Toyota or any other car company. But then even if you compare all the top 10 car companies, Tesla is actually way much more bigger in terms of market share. That's because he has given out the point of view that the Tesla company is big, but in terms of revenue, their revenue is still less. But then if you look at it right now, he can actually increase his profit and revenue right now because he has gained a pretty good brand image and brand value right now. So that was another strategy Elon Musk was trying to achieve over here.
Okay. Thank you, Archit. Thank you, Archit.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you. So next one, 2080 Gayatri. Sunil, you are attending online class, right?
No. Sir Gautami.
Sunil,
Yes, sir.
you are attending online class, right?
Yes, sir.
So you should be in a proper way that you are attending online class.
Okay, sir.
Sir, myself Gautami, 3128.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all. You can switch off your video just for clarity. Yes, Gautami.
Sir, unable to switch my video. My camera is not working properly.
Try to answer the question what is asked earlier.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Like, I think Sundar Pichai as the most successful CEO because as he is an Indian, first of all, he implemented many things in Google. Like when he started with implementing this Google, like Gmail first of all, which is very useful now. And I don't have any idea about unsuccessful CEOs.
Yes.
I don't have any proper idea about unsuccessful CEOs.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you have not heard about any person who failed.
Yes, sir.
So can you tell about the company which is successful?
Sir?
Can you tell me any one company which is successful in corporate governance?
Corporate governance. Sorry, sir. And I'm unable to remind remember anything.
Yes, it is already texted in the WhatsApp group, right? So that's why it is mentioned before 15 to 20 minutes earlier. You have to go through and you have to come back, not just like that coming to the class.
Sorry, sir. I didn't see WhatsApp group.
So you have to be in the WhatsApp group. And friends, another reminder. Okay.
Sir.
Asked, why he was late and all. He told me he gave a reason where he was late due to he did not have a proper car.
Okay.
So he gave his car. That's one of the examples where to show how how importance he gives to his employees. So that one thing can show that how important he shows to his company as well. So yeah, sir.
Okay. So according to your stories you heard, whether you say that Steve Jobs is a very good manager or a director, that he only initiated and he only taken the Apple company to the higher level. So,
Sir, he
so
is.
third, can you say he had a very good governing capacity or a managing capacity of running the organization, or did he fail at any point of time?
Sir, he would have definitely failed, sir, because no one becomes successful without failure. So the way he manages people is what the company came up into limelight. So he's a successful manager, sir. He has a management skills. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So, friends, please read about the important CEOs or founders or the key managers. You can learn many things from them apart from the business perspective. Yes, here there is another open question. Anybody read things about Steve Jobs? Yes, Anish, you can unmute yourself. You can mute yourself. Okay. Anybody heard about Steve Jobs? There's two different opinions. Steve Jobs is a very good manager, or Steve Jobs is a bad leader. There's a two controversial discussions happen with respect to the corporate governance. And we may heard the story. Steve Jobs is the person who taken the company to the greater heights, and he is one of the key persons. He is one of the founder. But still, at certain period of time, he is sacked out of the organization. Okay. And after a certain period of time, he is able to start his own company. There is a failure initially, and he started with many ventures. He was successful in that. But again, the Apple company, again, it says that there is no word called the owner. Okay, so when it became a public limited company, again, the board of directors requested Steve Jobs to come back. Why? So anybody in the class, if you know the stories, you can share. What you heard about Steve Jobs? Anyone? No one chose about Steve Jobs?
Sir, actually, I know a little bit about that, sir.
Uday, switch on and please share, because only if your video is available, it will come in front. Okay.
You can see me, sir.
Yes, very nice.
So one thing I heard about is actually when Steve Jobs, when he started the Apple company, during the time of 1985, sir, there was another key person. His name was Steve Wozniak. So that person was very keen on developing and designing computers. So his computers were prominent enough so that Steve Jobs could market those those computers. He was the main head in designing the computers and all the circuits. So what he did is, when Apple first computer was introduced, it was a very successful, sir. So what happened is, second computer when Steve Wozniak designed us, he designed with 8 chips computer, so that was very much like 10 times faster than Apple one computer. But what Steve Jobs did is, he prominently told Steve Wozniak that you don't design such computers, you keep the technology now, but design the computer with just 2 chips. Don't design it with 8 chips. I know Apple one had only 1 chip. Now you just design with 1 or 2 chips. Don't go with 8 chips. So what this did is, this actually demotivated Steve Wozniak. So I think around in 1990 or something, he left the company, sir. He was very disappointed. He left the company. He was like, he had an open-minded, sir, that the technology should be open enough. The source of the technology should be outlet to everyone so that everybody can study the technology. But Steve Jobs was intended to keep the technology so that his company can sustain for a very long time. Though he had introduced such a great technology in that era, he told that let's not introduce it once and for all. let us go step by step that the company will have a consistency in its growing. If you release it now itself, then everybody will start copying the same technology and will not have anything else next. So to see in one side, Steve Jobs was right, sir, because he had to sustain the company's point of view, had to sustain the company. And second thing is, he was very close-minded, sir. He just wanted, keep the technology to himself. And finally, when Steve Wongson left the company, he didn't even restrict, sir. He didn't even call him back. He didn't tell, don't go, don't leave the company. He was just quiet, sir. That shows that he was, bad in managing, so that he lost one of the key persons in the company. He lost a valuable member of the company. So I find it, Steve Jobs to be one side as negative and one side as positive.
Yes, very good, Uday. So, Uday, did you heard about something? What is the management style Steve Jobs adopted? As you said, Steve Jobs is more company oriented. So, we are just trying out linking these personalities with the corporate governance. And friends, please understand, whatever example we are discussing completely will not fit in the corporate governance because it's a theoretical concept, but we have to understand how the board of directors should balance both the business and people with the discussion we are having. So, Uday, it was heard and I read, Steve Jobs is not a very good leader to his subordinate. But he always looked for the growth of the organization. Two contradictory things. What's your point?
So that's what, sir, when he was quiet, that when Steve Wongson left the company, he didn't even call him back, sir. That very clearly shows he's not a good leader. He's just oriented to make his company grow. He doesn't mind that such a valuable person is leaving the company or not. He doesn't mind about that because he was the one initially who designed Apple One, sir. Apple One company was designed by Steve Wongson. That is the first impression that Apple company gave to the world. Okay, Apple company can build good computers. He was the main person who designed that computer. But yet when he was walking out, Steve Jobs kept quiet that, okay, let him go because I need company. He prioritized the company more than the person. So that shows that, his leadership is not that good, but he's just oriented towards growing his company. That is what I felt, sir.
Yes, Uday, the same Steve Jobs was sacked out of the organization.
So that is because I don't know about that, because why Steve Jobs was removed about this thing. I didn't research much about that. But I heard few things that his leadership style was not accepted by many of his employees. They were unhappy with his leadership style, where at certain point they thought that, okay, there should be a change in leadership style. Change in the leader itself, so the company can grow it in different prospect or something. So maybe you'd have moved out of that reason, sir. I don't know much about that.
Okay, thank you. So please all read about all these famous personalities. Okay, thank you. Then 1001, Akila. Akila Mohan. Sam, are you there? So in between, heard the voice of Sam. Wasim Sunil, 1014. Yes, Sam.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Sam. So can you brief about the corporate governance of your chosen person in the respective company?
Sir, chosen person means Steve Jobs only, no, sir?
No. It's already texted in the WhatsApp group, right? So you have to choose any one person who is successful in running the organization.
Oh, sir, I didn't see WhatsApp, sir.
So this is the status, friends. Directly logging through to 15 would not work out. So you have to go through WhatsApp. Okay. Sam, can you identify a company according to you which is well growing because of few persons working in the organization? It's not only because of the brand, the branding and the growth of the organization depends upon the few persons. So for example, I will say, if I say PepsiCo, still, even after the retirement, the company PepsiCo is more dependent on Indra Nooyi, not only in the Indian level, at the global level. Even as a woman, CEO, still the place of Indra Nooyi cannot be replaced. So that is the scenario is happening. So that means that the lot of growth happened because of Indra Nooyi. She is able to satisfy the customers. She is able to satisfy the stakeholders. She is able to satisfy the intermediaries. Likewise, can you say any one person to act as a core person for the company?
Sir, if you see like that, I think Alibaba and even Google, Sundar Pichai has contributed a lot, sir, for their decision making and their goodwill towards the organizations and
Who,
in the
sir?
marketplace.
Who, Sam? Who is the person you are
Sundar
mentioning?
Pichai in Google,
Yes.
yeah. So he's contributed a lot, sir. So his decisions and all his
Yes, Sam, you
from
have
the
to
time
mention what are the decisions he took. It's not like exam just mentioning about he took lot of decision. He is a very nice person. He is a very good leader. That is not required. What decision he took in favor of whom, whether in the favor of employees or in the favor of shareholders, that we have to mention. Because we are discussing about corporate governance. If you say Google CEO Sundar Pichai is finding how, why all are encouraging him, appreciating him, why? But still the company is growing because of him. Why? What is the change he made? How he is different from earlier CEO?
Sir, I don't know. I think Sundar Pichai has contributed towards Google. Like there was a case against him which he had fired the old employees. So for the productivity and to maximize their resources, he took that decision. So I think that will play an important role.
No. Whether you are saying negative about Sundar Pichai or positive about Sundar Pichai, you
No,
have to
sir.
say what is
Like
your view.
he filtered a lot of unwanted resources from the company for the company's growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was based for their Google's privacy. So their privacies were going out, and there was a lot of filtration process, which he took out employees who acted or who played a role in that.
Okay. Yes, Sam. So you also have to study more about at least one person, one company we should go through. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Farzeen, I am unable to hear from you 1014 and Angela Jason 1006. 1006. Yes, 3116.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Akshay. So can you please share? So Angela Jason, it's no response from your end. 1006. Okay. Akshay?
Sir, I'll talk about the failed company.
Yes, yes, Akshay.
You have heard about Enron Enterprise, right? In 2001, they filed bankruptcy, which was like, according to the US, it was the largest bankruptcy filed, which was about amount $74 billion were lost by Enron Enterprise. And the reason behind was their CEO, Jeffrey Skinnings, who used unethical corporate practices to take fund from the investors and invest in other they mainly focused on gambling to make more money, and they started losing money from that. And to cover up all these investment activities, they started doing projectile accounting, which was like if you develop a new factory, you will start predicting that in 1 year the factory will make about this much amount. So what they did was after building the factory, they entered the profit for the next year directly on the accounts, like without it doesn't matter if the company is able to make that profit or not, they just enter the amount like that. So this showed a huge amount of profit for the company and started getting more and more investors in the company. And the company mainly lost about like billions of dollars from the employees' pension fund were used for gambling by the company. And I think Enron failed in corporate governance. Main reason was the CEO, Jeffrey Skinnings. And if it's about a good CEO, I would say Dan Price is one of the best CEOs, because in 2015, he took a huge pay cut of around $1 million, so that every person, like minimum wage would start from $70,000. He was actually taking $1.1 million yearly. He brought it down to $70,000. So each person of this, each employees of his company would start getting $70,000. And the company would gravity payments. Dan prices. That's all.
Okay, Akshay. So from your point, whether you want to say that he is more oriented towards the organization or more oriented towards the shareholder?
Who, sir? Dan Price or Jeffrey Skinnings?
The second person.
Dan Price is more oriented towards his employees. Okay. Like he wants his society to grow with him. Yeah. Like he wants the employees to grow with him, along with the company also.
Yes. So Akshay, here I want to ask one question. So again, the complaint on this Steve Jobs earlier, right, is he is more objective oriented. Okay.
Sir, you asked about his leadership type, right?
Actually, I'm saying about Steve Jobs. I'm just want to compare with this person. Okay. So Steve Jobs is very company oriented, objective oriented. He wants to satisfy the shareholder, and he want to do something to the world. Okay. So he want to improve the world by the lot of innovation. But his innovation is compulsive innovation. Okay, so the main complaint from is if he wants the job to be done in 1 week, the employee has to do. He won't listen to any excuses. He is so harsh. But he justify, if I convince on their performance means I'm actually not helping my shareholders to grow. I'm not helping my customers to get the benefit. So that is his argument from his side. So can you accept this? Reverse. You are saying about another person who is more oriented towards the employees. If I am taking care more about the employees means, okay, the employees always try to work for lesser time. They always try to take, it is an assumption, okay, the principles of management study is an assumption. He always try to relax from the work, but he always claim for more salary. He always try to claim for more incentive. So how it is possible? So if I have more support for the employees means I cannot help my company to grow. I cannot help my shareholder to get the profit. I cannot satisfy my customer. So two things, whether Steve Jobs is right or your different point of view.
Sir, if you ask me, Steve Jobs is actually right. Like if you want your company to be in the top position, you have to take certain decisions. Like if the employees aren't ready to work, you have to make them work. Like you can't be in the #1 position with lazy people. Right? So his management style is, I think, like because he wants his company to be on the first position. His decisions is directed towards the growth of the company. So he would concern less about his employees and give them more works.
No. My question is whether it is right.
Yes, sir, it's right.
That's right. So you want to exploit your employees for the betterment of your organization.
Sir, if my goal is to
if any chance is given, you will cut down their salary. You will increase your work hours.
Yes,
because you are looking for so much profit. You want more productivity. So you won't care about the people. Those who are the key persons in the company growth. So you won't bother about your employees because you are looking for money.
Okay, sir. I want to change my answer now.
No, you should not change the answer, sir. You have to justify your answer. So here we are just discussing how the company works. There is nothing called right or wrong.
Sir, I wouldn't go as far as cutting down my employees' salary and all. Like it just if I start doing that, they'll start getting demotivated, and they won't be willing to work for me. And this is one of the reason why they
Akshay, if I ask the employees to work for 8 hours, still some
Right.
people are demotivated. If I ask the employees to come on Saturday, still some employees are demotivated. What I can do to motivate them? Can I take, because I am a board of director, okay? I am not a founder. So
Yes.
whatever I am getting the salary, I have to work for the organization. So I have to make the employees to work, right? I am answerable to my top level management. I am answerable to the stakeholders who
Yes.
trusted me. How I can cheat them? Okay. Thank you, Akshay. Nice
Thank you,
discussion. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. So we will come to back to the theories. Okay. So as of now, I noted some students have not responded. Okay. So I will read it again.
As in like Google is actually one of the best companies. So I would actually really love to work with them.
Why?
Is it? Its management is actually like smooth because it's always like we don't actually see any glitches. It's like a people's person, not like.
Yes, Akila, please answer from the CEO perspective, not from the employee perspective. You are CEO, you have to take care of the employees, you have to take care of the business, you have to take care of the stakeholders, you have to take care of the growth of the organization. How Google attracts you, or I can say in a reverse. As an employee, yes, it's a very good organization, it's a top organization to work, the best place to work, that I accept. If I look as a shareholder, if you want to invest in Google, what is the reason you would prefer to invest in Google?
Because of the reputation, like it's like a progressive approach, or like because of
What is
that.
the reputation Google is maintaining? You say
What's that?
what is the reputation Google is maintaining?
I mean, the leadership or the management. I mean, this. Sorry, sir, I'm not getting to the point.
Akila, if you're going to invest, whether you look into it, how they manage, so what are things you will look into? You look for profit, right?
Yeah.
So what perspective attracts you to invest in Google? For example, today you are investing 100 rupees in Google, not in Apple. Why?
Because of the
What are the things you will
features.
see? Yes.
Features like premium features, or it's like long-term interest in shareholders.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you, Akila. So you have to browse more. Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
Yes. Yes, come back, friends. So, whatever discussion we had, there is nothing called right or nothing called wrong. As a corporate governance,
Thank you, sir.
answer. Wait, I am not ending this session. Wait. Okay. So, we should be able to balance all the things. I am going back to these slides. Okay. So I will take few minutes, friends. I will take few minutes just to share. So when we are speaking about a corporate governance, yes, so we have to think about the futures of corporate. So next class we will be elaborating these points. What are from your exams I am elaborating. So what are the futures of corporate governance? What is the board system and procedure? What is the value orientation? And what are the issues and challenges in corporate governance with respect to the selecting the board of director, how we have to remunerate them, how we have to give the rights to the shareholder, how we have to audit the organization, and if there is a failure of corporate governance, what is the reason for failures? Okay, and if I want to study about the corporate governance, how the corporate governance helps the stakeholder, helps the corporate image, helps in managing properly, helps in valuation, helps in growth, and how it is benefit to the employees, how it is benefit to the society, how it is benefit to the corporate itself. So we have to answer from the all these perspectives. Then only we can say that we are having a proper corporate governance. So the next, so I will be sharing this slide, or I will put it in the LMS. So please go through this all these concepts. Okay, so these are theoretical concepts we have to learn, and in the class we will have a discussion like this. And I request all the students to follow